Yes, hello, welcome to Granada Reports.
On the programme this evening.
Just days away from their wedding anniversary, the family of a devoted couple who drowned in their car in Liverpool tell of their grief.
Health warning: how Heather, the TikTok star, was left unable to walk after surgery to lose weight.
On top of the world, what next for the best darts player on the planet, Luke Littler?
Every picture tells a story. The Photographic Society celebrating 125 glorious years.
And we started with dry, sunny and rather chilly weather. Tomorrow, not dry, not sunny, but still chilly. The forecast for the rest of the week on its way.
So first tonight, the family of a couple who died when their car became trapped in flash flooding in Liverpool say they feel truly broken-hearted as their inquest began.
Yeah, it was August 2 years ago when Elaine and Philip Marco were driving home from a family gathering when they were caught in high water under a bridge on Queen's Drive in Mossley Hill. It
was a tragedy that shocked many and led to major questions about the danger of flooding in that particular area.
Well, our reporter Emma Sweeney's been at that inquest today. Emma, what more can you tell us?
Well, Katie, it was a relatively short hearing in Liverpool this morning, but it was a very emotional one. At times, members of the Marco family struggled to hold back tears as tributes were paid to Elaine and Philip Marco. The couple's daughter, Sarah, read out her own pen portrait before the court. Her parents' love, she said, was rare. They spent every waking moment together and they were always hand in hand. She said their loss wasn't just felt by her and her siblings, but their children as well. The couple had 10 grandchildren in total and another on the way. She said the whole family felt robbed, and she revealed that the events of that day back in August of 2023 had left her with PTSD. Miss Marco told the court, "There are moments when I physically struggle to breathe, as though the air has been stolen from my lungs. My heart aches constantly, not metaphorically, but in a real physical way. I now understand what it means to be truly broken-hearted." Now, the couple's son, Simon, said that the hardest thing he'd ever had to do in his life was to tell his children that both their grandparents had died suddenly in such tragic circumstances. The court heard that Mr. and Mrs. Marco were days away from celebrating their 54th wedding anniversary, and on that day in question, they'd been at their son Joshua's house celebrating his 40th birthday. He told the court that the trauma is ever present. We regularly have to drive past that same road where they died, he said. Joshua said that his parents were their foundation, and without them, they felt unanchored. Now, when the tragedy unfolded, it sparked major questions about the danger of flooding in that particular area of South Liverpool. And since then, the City Council has brought in a range of safety measures, with a section of the road where it happened shut for 5 months. This inquest will see further questions aimed at the council and other authorities to establish further details. Today's inquest started with a 2-minute silence for the couple as the coroner requested. Proceedings will continue in Liverpool tomorrow.
All right, Emma, for now, thank you.
Well, next tonight, the husband of Manchester Olympian Diane Medall has denied raping and sexually assaulting a child. Former Olympic coach Vincent Medall, who's 65, pleaded not guilty to 19 charges at Manchester Crown Court relating to alleged offences against one female between 2012 and 2024. Bailing him, the judge said he had, with regret, to adjourn the case for 3 years until September 2028, as it was the first available date it could go to trial.
A man has died after being struck by a car on a motorway in Greater Manchester. It happened just before 10 o'clock last night on the M66 near where it meets the M60 at Simister Island near Bury. Police say it's believed the 19-year-old may have been in a car previously involved in a police chase. The Serious Collision Investigation Unit is appealing for anyone who may have witnessed the incident to come forward.
A woman from Lancashire who was controlled and sexually abused by a former partner has waived her anonymity and says she will not be silenced. Michael Ball from Lee dictated what clothes she wore, raped her multiple times and even put her in a suitcase. He was jailed for 19 years after being found guilty of rape and controlling and coercive behaviour relating to 2 victims. One of those, Jasmine, says it's taken her a long time to feel like herself, but she's now free from everything.
A Liverpool Labour MP is hit out at the government's new tougher policy on asylum seekers announced today by the Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood. Ian Byrne, the MP for West Derby, said the government had, in his words, drifted far from the Prime Minister's promise of compassion and dignity towards policies supported by the far right. The government says the current system is out of control and causing huge divisions across the country.
Well, next tonight, to the TikTok star who wants anyone seeking weight loss surgery to be aware of a rare potential side effect.
Yes, 22-year-old Heather Ryan, who's from Warrington, decided to have a gastric sleeve operation overseas after hitting 30 stones.
Yeah, but not long afterwards, she developed complications with her recovery, which led to a form of neuropathy that left her unable to use her legs.
She spent 5 months in the complex rehabilitation unit at the specialist Walton Centre in Liverpool, learning to walk again. Our correspondent Victoria Grimes has been to meet her.
As an influencer, Heather Ryan shares her life online with her 280,000 followers. Her What I Eat in a Day videos have gained tens of millions of views on TikTok. So when she went for gastric sleeve surgery abroad, she shared that too, with no idea that her next story would be the one where she has to learn to walk again.
When your legs don't work like they used to before.
Surgery was perfect, no complications. Came back to the UK, and then as soon as I started introducing more hard foods into my diet, I found that I couldn't keep anything down. At the absolute worst, I was eating and drinking absolutely nothing. I was throwing up. I started feeling a weakness in my legs, and my legs started to get really numb. I tried to get out of bed to go to the toilet, and I just collapsed on the floor. That's when I had no idea there was any problem with my feet or anything. I didn't realise at that point I could no longer stand. I really felt like I was dying, and I don't say that lightly. But I refused. I was refusing to go to the doctors, go to the hospital. I was scared, basically. I was just like so scared of the outcome.
Doctors can't say exactly why Heather couldn't keep food down, but the problem in her legs was eventually diagnosed as a type of neuropathy, something which can occur after a surgery or trauma.
They said it was basically malnutrition. My body just wasn't absorbing any vitamins or nutrients from any of the food that I was eating. So then, because of those deficiencies, it made my body so weak that it actually caused nerve damage in both of my feet and ankles.
Did you ever imagine that after having the surgery, you'd be left in a position where you couldn't walk?
Never. I was completely oblivious. I thought everything would be perfect. I thought I'd lose all this weight, I'd look amazing, no health problems were ever going to come to me.
Hi.
Oh my God, I missed you.
It's so good to see you.
It's so good to see you.
Heather spent 6 weeks in hospital and then 5 months here on the complex rehabilitation unit at the Walton Centre in Liverpool. She's had intense physiotherapy to help her move her legs again.
Axonal neuropathy is where there's damage to the nerve, and your nerves are responsible for sending messages and receiving messages throughout the body. So that can affect things like your muscle, it can affect your sensation. Essentially, Heather has had to learn how to walk again.
You've documented your journey to recovery on TikTok. What's the response been like from other people that have viewed your pages? You've had like 16 million views on some of your posts.
Yeah, the response has been bigger than I ever thought it would be. So many people would comment on my videos and direct message me saying, look, I've had the same thing happen to me. I have no regrets at all for having the surgery. I would just want people to be a bit more educated surrounding the aftercare and how to really look after your body and the circumstances what could happen if you don't look after your body. It's like this has completely changed my life. I feel like now, you know, a year of my life is gone. My plan is to just go out and do everything. I want to go bungee jumping, get that Christmas night out, the Michael Bublé on, and I'll be sorted.
Heather still doesn't know if she'll ever fully recover, but she's determined to make the most of every opportunity life gives her. Victoria Grimes, ITV News, Liverpool.
Yeah, we wish Heather all the very best with her recovery.
Yeah, it can't be easy. Next tonight, the family of a nurse who died days after being misdiagnosed with indigestion say she was let down by the NHS when she needed it most. Paula Ivers, who was 47, was found dead by her 9-year-old daughter after being sent home from Tameside Hospital in March last year.
Well, let's join our correspondent Anna Yosef, who's in Stockport, where her inquest got underway today. Anna, what exactly has the coroner heard?
Well, we heard how Paula Ivis had gone to Tameside A&E after experiencing crushing chest pains, pains which she told her partner were even worse than childbirth. But she was sent home the same day after being diagnosed with indigestion and told to pick up a bottle of Gaviscon on the way home. 3 days later, she was found collapsed on her bedroom floor by her 9-year-old daughter. A post-mortem revealed that she died from a condition called aortic dissection. It's a time-critical medical emergency caused by a tear to the aorta. Now, Paula had been a paediatric nurse for more than 20 years. It was a job that she loved. And her sister Leslie, who's also a nurse, told the court today it's a cruel irony that Paula was a fierce advocate and defender of the NHS, yet when she needed it most, she was let down in the worst possible way. Paula's family believe her death was as a result of poor care at Tameside Hospital. They believe there were numerous failings and missed opportunities to correctly diagnose her, failings that they hope this inquest will bring to light. They're also hoping that this case will raise awareness of aortic dissection among medical professionals and the general public.
And Anna, have we heard anything from Tameside Hospital or the staff who treated Paula Ivis in A&E?
Yes, Andy, we heard from a Dr. Osama Ahmed. He gave evidence today. He was the senior clinician in the emergency department on the day that Paula went to hospital. The court heard Dr. Ahmed decided Paula was low risk and could be sent to same-day emergency care, or SDEC, despite not examining herself or knowing her family history. In actual fact, Paula's father had died from a cardiac arrest when he was in his early 40s. Dr. Ahmed also overruled the findings of her ECG, which had been reported as abnormal. Now, the court heard that one of the most common ways of diagnosing aortic dissection is by using a CT scan, but Paula wasn't sent to get one. Dr. Ahmed told the court he now accepts that Paula wasn't low risk and that she shouldn't have been sent to SDEC. But in his opinion, aortic dissection wasn't a common condition, and, quote, they didn't tend to see it every day. He's added that since this case, hospital staff are far more aware of the condition. Well, the inquest has now been adjourned until next June, and the coroner said he had to make the difficult decision to delay it, which he knows is going to cause Paula's family further distress, because some of the witnesses would struggle to attend due to staff shortages caused by this week's doctor strikes.
OK, Anna in Stockport tonight, many thanks.
And we'll follow that story as it develops next year. Well, still to come on tonight's programme.
Training in the rain, the boxing club fighting for survival after a devastating fire.
And after that crisp sunny start to the week, we've got low pressure dominating tomorrow. Some more showers, but it remains chilly. More details in just a few minutes.
And let's take a look at what's to come on the ITV Evening News. Here's Charlie.
Coming up on the ITV Evening News, the government outlined their latest plan to tackle illegal immigration. Our encounter with the Madeleine McCann suspect, Christian Bruckner, living in German woods following his prison release. The clear-up after Storm Claudia continues just as the first cold snap arrives. And Bridget in bronze, the much-loved character, gets her own statue. Join us for those stories and more from 6:30.
I don't get it. I just don't understand why.
Why not? We love Bridget.
Sorry.
Well, moving on. And this next story will be especially relevant to parents who may be watching tonight. We all know the benefits of reading to our children, and it seems like most mums and dads agree that they enjoy it as much as their little ones.
Yeah, a recent survey by the Guide Dogs charity found 88% of parents said reading to their children was the highlight of their day. But for some parents with sight loss, Story time can leave them feeling like they're missing out.
Yes, that's why one charity, which looks to improve lives of people with sight loss, has started a new service looking to help visually impaired grown-ups to share the good times too. Chloe Oliver has more.
However hard he worked and however fast he screwed on the caps.
Bedtime reading is one of Ryan and Luke's favourite times of the day. But for their mum Becky from Preston, it's bittersweet. She's one of many parents affected by sight loss who finds reading to their children a struggle.
I used to swap tips with my visually impaired friends to try and figure out how we could best read to our kids. And it's quite a common question that comes up in the visually impaired community. So some people recorded their voice and other people took photographs of each individual page, and then you tried to zoom in. This is what I tried to do. I tried to zoom in on my phone whilst the kids held the book, but then the kids wanted to look at the phone and it was so difficult.
It's an issue charities are looking to bring into focus by producing bespoke editions of books for adults with vision impairments.
It's the standard books that you can buy from the shop, but they've reprinted them into, you can choose whatever paper colour works for you, and you can also choose whatever font size works for you, the different line spacing, so that I can read without difficulty. I've never had that before. It's been amazing.
Literary experts like Sarah Brownsort believes bedtime stories aren't just about boosting children's language skills, but also their emotional well-being.
It's linked to future academic success. So it's really strongly correlated with doing well in the future. But also, probably more importantly than that, it's a really good parent-child bonding time.
Research by the charity Guide Dogs has found that reading to your children is hugely beneficial for their development, not just for them, but for grown-ups. 65% of adults said that it left them feeling happier too.
Sight loss can be on any spectrum and different people can be affected in different ways. So we know that through the research, 68% of adults with sight loss rely on audiobooks for that bedtime reading, and actually around 30% of those adults rely on other people reading on their behalf, so they're completely missing out on that experience with their child.
More than anything else was, what was it?
Chocolate!
Chocolate!
Page by page, these books are breaking down barriers and helping parents with visual impairments like Becky to share that treasured bedtime story ritual. Chloe Oliver, ITV News, Preston.
Great idea.
It is. Brilliant one.
Such a magical time. I really enjoyed doing all of that. Did you have a favourite?
I think by the time I've got to child number 3, I'm sick of them all. I need to go to the library and get some new ones.
That's too honest. Room on a Broom for me and Squash and a Squeeze. Brilliant. All
Both
the junior
classics.
dancing. Brilliant. OK, on to sport now. And Warrington has a world #1, Chris.
Yeah, that's right. The only surprise is that this hasn't happened sooner, I guess. Luke Littler, the teenager from Warrington, is now officially the best darts player on the planet. And at 18 years old, he's the youngest to ever become it. Reaching the final of the Grand Slam was enough to replace Luke Humphreys in the #1 spot, but Littler went one better, beating Humphreys 16-11 in the final to keep hold of the trophy he won last year. It came with £150,000 prize money, taking Luke's total earnings in the last 2 years to £1.85 million. And now to another Warringtonian making his hometown proud. Jarell Quansah is now in contention for a place in England's World Cup squad after making a victorious international debut. The defender helped England keep a clean sheet in Albania, where they won 2-0 to complete qualifying with a 100% record. Well, staying with football, and Blackpool's new boss Ian Evatt has suffered his first League One defeat since taking charge. They lost at Burton Albion. In League Two, Accrington won 3-1 at home against Bristol Rovers to move 3 points clear of the relegation zone. Fleetwood Town earned a point, holding new league leaders Swindon to a 1-1 draw. Crewe sit just outside of the playoff spots after being held to a goalless draw by Oldham. Elsewhere, there were defeats for Barrow and Salford, but Tranmere won 3-2 at home against Cheltenham. In the Women's Super League, it was City who took the bragging rights in the Manchester derby. They won 3-0 over neighbours United at the Etihad Stadium to move 3 points clear at the top of Super League. That was thanks also to Liverpool's surprise draw with Chelsea, that game finishing 1-1. Elsewhere, Everton lost at West Ham. And in golf, Southport's Tommy Fleetwood has ended the season in a tie for third place at the World Tour Championship in Dubai. 5 birdies on the back 9 holes of his final round thrust him to within 1 shot of joining leaders Matt Fitzpatrick and Rory McIlroy in a playoff, which was eventually won by Fitzpatrick. Well, next to a desperate appeal for help from a boxing club in Greater Manchester. A decade ago, Darnhill and Haywood Amateur Boxing Club was destroyed by fire, ripping the heart out of the local community. The construction of a new gym has stalled due to a cash shortage, meaning the town's aspiring young boxers have nowhere to train. And as Mike Hall reports, a recent tragedy has now refocused the community's fight to get the project back on track.
On the Darnhill estate in Haywood, young boxing hopefuls are having to train in the rain. All the more frustrating as their new gym sits empty behind them, unfinished and unsafe.
The vision is that it's going to be a self-development centre for employment, for education. You'll have fitness bikes, you'll have aerobics in the corner.
Dale Gorkas is desperate to finish a job that started 10 years ago when the original Darnhill and Haywood Boxing Club at the centre of this estate for half a century was destroyed by fire. Through fundraising and grants, more than £300,000 has been raised to build this shell. Another 300 is needed to complete the project.
The community of Darnhill, it's had 2 local public houses knocked down, a school knocked down, a church knocked down. So what that does, it takes the heart out of the community. You know, for the youth, they haven't got that place to go to, the place to call home. Like even now after school, you know, like where do they go? This community is in the lowest 3% deprived areas in the country, the lowest percentage in crime, in education, in physical and mental health. If we don't solve this problem now, it'll stay like this forever. It must be solved now.
The need for this self-development centre has never been greater. Last month, this community was left devastated by the death of 16-year-old Harvey Greenhalgh, an aspiring young fighter who'd grown in confidence during a summer boxing camp in the town.
I've always been an inside person, but ever since I've come out, I've felt more safer. I feel like I can actually open up and actually do stuff what I've not been able to do in the past.
Fantastic, my brother.
3 weeks on from this moving speech, Harvey took his own life.
It shocked the community and its family to the core. You know, myself, the grief, the guilt, the pain. If this place had been open, that boy would still be with us.
You truly believe that?
100%. It's the place to come, isn't it? You know, there's a time even when I was a kid, you know, you don't always go home to mum and tell them your problems. You don't always tell your mates your problems. You know, you go to your coaches, you go to your mentors.
Harvey's death has strengthened the resolve in this town. The fundraising goes on in his name.
I'm 73 this year, so last year I did a birthday in December. I did a birthday request and I got 1,200 birthday gifts and it was donated to the boxing.
Wow.
And I've done it again this year. So it's just people on the estate.
So you're donating your birthday money?
Always, yeah. It's so important on this estate.
Why does this gym need to be finished?
Because then we're not training outside in the rain and we don't have to go in the library and train because it's too small for all of us. I really want it to be finished because a lot of older people get to do boxing, but younger kids on this estate don't have a chance to.
So it would be very important because it would get people outside the house and it'd make the mental well-being a lot better.
There's not really anything to do because everyone's just messing about doing naughty stuff. And then if that was there, we'd have more stuff to do and we could be in better shape.
It's needed, it's galvanised us in a way now that it's put a focus in us, it's put a steel in us. You know, this place will be open, it needs to be open. If not now, then when?
This community has lost so much, but hope remains. This is one fight Darnhill is determined to win. Mike Hall, ITV News.
And you can find out more about Darnhill's fight to get that gym built on our website right now, including how to help with their fundraising. Just go to itv.com/Granada. Such an important cause. We wish them well with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris, thank you. Now, It's a fact that we take more photos, mostly on our phones, than we ever have, haven't we, Katie?
Yeah.
Most of mine are awful.
Yeah, me too. But thankfully, we have the Halton Photographic Society, who have kept a visual image of Widnes and Runcorn for the last 125 years.
Yeah, amazing. Their dedicated members always have a keen eye for capturing that magical picture on camera, as Paul Crone discovered.
Halton Photographic Society loves nothing more than focusing on preserving their local heritage. Formerly the Widnes Photographic Society, seen here back in 1900, members today are always out and about, cameras in hand, and some have had rather a lot of experience.
It's a Kodak Hawkeye. It was bought for me on my 8th birthday by my father in 1938.
The Society has to thank two chemists who worked in Widnes, Charles Driffield and Ferdinand Herter, who used their skills to revolutionise photography.
At that point in time, it was very difficult to control the level of light aperture in a camera. So they did research over a period of several years, developed several actimeters, which were all patented, and sold them over a period of about 15 years, and eventually they were given a medal.
With a dazzling array of cameras old and new, members have developed an impressive portfolio of photos. So if you're thinking, is it a torch or a child's toy, this is in fact a Kodak Brownie flash camera. That's where the flash bulb goes, and it was produced way back in 1959.
It's just the pleasure of taking them and seeing the old type where you had to develop in the dish and bring it, and to see that picture come up out of the dish, there's no answers to that.
The Society meets once a week at Rainhill Cricket and Recreation Club. It's safe to say they love taking photos.
It's the composition, it's the thought, it's the time, it's the trying to snap that shot which is held in perpetuity and developing it, processing it to the best possible potential.
And always make sure, if you have old photos, to write down who's in them on the back and when it was taken. Say cheese, everyone. Paul Crone, ITV News.
Brilliant. Time for the weather now. Here's James.
Mum, wet wipes, toilet or bin?
Bin. Why?
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hello there, good evening. It's not been a bad start to the week, some nice sunshine out there, but it has started to feel a little bit on the chilly side. You can see why we're pulling in some rather cold northerly air. We are going to see some rather unsettled weather over the next couple of days. This low formed over Iceland, corkscrewing its way down across the British Isles, and once that clears out towards the west, well, we're back into that colder airstream from the north. If there is an upside, anything wintry is likely to be across the eastern side of the UK and not in our neck of the woods. Now tonight it's going to be a bit of a chilly one, but notice how all the blue on the map is sort of staying away from us, and that's because there's going to be enough cloud pushing down on this sort of roughly northwesterly airflow, bringing in enough cloud, and that's going to keep the frost under control. That doesn't mean it's not going to be cold, because it is going to be cold. In fact, one or two places down below freezing, so a bit more of an ice risk rather than a frost risk. And that means that tomorrow is set to be a rather showery day as that low starts pulling its way down across us. You notice a little bit of white there, could turn a touch wintry up on any higher ground. With all the showers around, it's not going to be too breezy apart from for the Isle of Man there, but it is going to feel rather chilly and certainly colder than it was last week. We're looking at highs of 6 or 7 generally and 8 if you're lucky. As far as the rest of the week goes, well, it starts to settle down once that low clears. So sunny spells for Wednesday, back onto that northerly. That's going to feel probably cooler than that. Rather frosty at night, scraping the cars, and then towards Friday we slowly change to more unsettled conditions.
Cleaned up well.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Thank you, James. Ashley Banjo is on the programme tomorrow night.
Yeah, he's bringing Diversity's new show to Manchester, so you won't want to miss that. Good evening.
Good night.